Hey, welcome to this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Robertson, and today we try out the all-new 2013 GMC Terrain Denali. Now, if you're familiar with the Denali lineup, it is what takes GMC's models to a whole nother level. Now, for what I like to say is that's called the HNL. Now, the biggest thing with Denali is you'll see is right up front in this grille prestige. Obviously, this riveted hold chrome grille is what everybody's going to see when they see you coming down the road. Obviously, the headlights are typical for the Terrain, but this front end is what tells you this bad boy is a Denali. Now, as I mentioned before, the Denali has a lot of bling, and on this particular model, you'll of course find it along the door trims, especially on the 19-inch rims right there. This sets it apart from all the other GMC family line. Now, the Terrain measures in at a 112-inch wheelbase with an overall length of 187 inches. Now, that's not too shabby, and I found the inside to be perfect and holds 5 people easily. Now, if you're looking for a slightly bigger SUV, that's going to be the Acadia. Now, it measures in about a foot longer overall and has a 118-inch wheelbase. That's going to offer seating for about 7 or 8 people. That's not too bad. But overall, I found the Terrain to be exactly what you're looking for, especially in backseat legroom. So let's go check it out. All right, sit inside the vehicle is when you're really going to notice what the Terrain has to offer. And specifically for me at 6 foot 1 inches is legroom. Now, I found it fantastic. The biggest thing, of course, as always, is in the front. Now, on the Terrain, you're going to have about 41 inches. And that's typical on most of the vehicles I've been driving. And that obviously gives you plenty of room to go forward and backwards. The biggest thing with anyone that's tall in the front is what happens in the back seat and what happens to their legs more specifically. So let's check it out. Now, being in the back seat, you'll obviously look for the leg room to be exactly what you need it to be. And here, the Terrain offers all you would ever want. The front seat, of course, is in the position I need it at its back, furthest back position. Once I climb in, what I look for is spacing here. And on this Terrain, it's plenty. There's nothing scraping, no knees jamming, no problems. The biggest thing when you look at the numbers, it's a 5-inch difference from front to back. And typically that means you're going to have some knee bleed. But here, I don't see it, and there's plenty of room to go around. Now, under the hood is what makes this bad boy dance. And specifically, it's the new 3.6 liter V6 engine. Now, that replaces last year's model, which is the 3.0 liter. Now, it gives you about 14% more horsepower and 22% more torque. Now, that's awesome. Best thing about it is fuel economy. It stays exactly the same. Now, if you're looking for better numbers at the pump, you can get the 2.4 liter inline 4-cylinder. Now, it's going to give you a little less horsepower at 182 or 172 foot-pounds of torque. Now, that's not too bad, but let's look at the gas numbers. Now, as for the numbers, this vehicle is rated at 301 horsepower and 272 foot-pounds of torque. Now, I found it to be perfect, especially considering this was equipped with the all-wheel drive model versus the standard front-wheel drive model. Now, as always on the Denali, the chrome isn't just on the outside, it's on the inside. And where you'll find it, of course, is around the instrument clusters, the information center. Everywhere you look, cup holders, everywhere is going to be chrome. Even better, of course, is the black accents. The black leather makes this vehicle look prestigious and regal. Now, they add a little bit of red stitching around the dash and a little bit of red illumination inside as well. All of that is classy and exactly what you find on a Denali. Now, of course, like a Denali or any vehicle that offers that top-of-the-line offerings, you're going to find, of course, an information center. And on this one, it's typical GM, where it's going to offer you all the amenities you might be looking for. Specifically, you're going to get XM radio, you're going to get navigation, you're going to get Bluetooth capabilities, and of course, Pandora and other internet options that allow you to stream right from your Bluetooth. Now, the cool thing I like about this, and I've used a lot of GM's products with their information center, and that was the MyLink. Now, this one's the IntelliLink. The difference to me is this one offers some buttons and also touchscreen. The best thing about it, when I'm in my furthest driving position, it is somewhat difficult to touch this screen. However, I can hit the corresponding buttons and dial in exactly what I'm looking for. I kind of like that option. That gives you best of both worlds. Of course, if my passenger gets a little antsy, she can reach over and do it herself. Now, the biggest thing to me is creature comforts, and that comes down right to cup holders and storage. Now on this one, of course, they're chrome accented and have a little bit of red illumination nearby so you see it plentiful and easy. Now there's two here, there's some storage in the doors. The biggest thing I found was this bad boy right here. You open this thing up, there's a 2-tier level. A little place for your phone, or of course, if you want to hide a whole bunch of stuff, this thing is cavernous. You drop it in there, you might need to send a child with a light to go find it. Now as for transmission, is to be expected in this SUV. It's only an automatic, more specifically a 6-speed. Now it does have a manual-like mode which allows you to tap, shift, up or down. I, of course, if you've seen my shows, always avoid this, as I care not to really have to work at shifting. I'd rather just put my hands on the wheel and roll on. Now at the back of the Denali, you of course find the creature's comforts we've already mentioned. One of course will be the dual cup holders right here, which is nice and high, gives you a decent armrest. One thing that I thought kind of should have been here but was missing was the rear entertainment system. Now of course on most vehicles those are options, but on Denali I thought it would be standard. Another nice feature of course is the cargo area that can now go from the back to the front. This of course is standard on most SUVs and is continued of course in the Denali Terrain lineup here. Now that concludes this edition of the Road Warrior, and I hope you enjoyed my horsey voice and my cold demeanor. What's not cold, of course, is this Terrain, which is one of the hottest SUVs on the market. Now again, if you're looking for a slightly bigger model, look at the Acadia, which offers a foot more length and a third row. Now as always, I'd like to thank you for watching this edition of Road Warrior. I've been your host, Grant Roberts. As always, keep both hands on the wheel and eyes straight ahead.